Right, welcome back, and back to you, Dr. Cherif. And we were speaking about the political movements that Egypt has made, and one of them was the Cairo Declaration. This Cairo Declaration has put a kind of roadmap to what should lead Libya towards a safe haven. And one of the items of such a roadmap was how it should be communicating with regional and international powers. United States, Italy and France. We spoke about already Italy and France because Egypt has paved the way, and the president himself paved the way for the Libyan existence in those countries. Now we're speaking about the United States. And the United States with a new administration, right? So,
well, whether the administration is it's a new administration, yes, but Egypt has its position now in the Middle East. It cannot be avoided.
No, we're speaking about decades of cooperation between both countries.
That's what I'm talking about, that Egypt is a stronghold in this region. Egypt and the United States worked several times in fighting terrorism, in breaking the stalemate between Israel and the Palestinians. We have worked together on several issues, and economic cooperation also. So I think that the new Biden administration understands that now President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi could help a lot if the United States wish to see calm and stability in the region, because Egypt has a strong economy, strong army, and strong diplomacy, and strong leadership. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is a very charismatic leader, and he knows how to tackle all these issues, whether with European or Middle Eastern leaders. So I think that cooperating on Libya, for example, I think that they understand, the Americans, that Egypt worked with Russia and worked with President Vladimir Putin on the Libyan case at a certain time. So they have an interest to ask Egypt also for this cooperation, so if they want to guarantee their presence in this region, or in Libya. And I think that now the Biden administration will have to work with all the allies in the region if they want to find a solution for several issues like Iran and like Libya and like the Palestinians and Israelis, solutions for the Syrian conflict, stability in Iraq. So how they will deal with all of these issues without strong allies, and Egypt is a strong ally.
Why is Egypt a strong ally, or why should the United States consider Egypt as a strong ally? And what would really convince the United States that Egypt, with all it has, is a real ally that the United States can really depend on in solving lots of problems? Why?
Because this is the fact on the ground now. Look at the countries in the Middle East. I think that the Biden administration has no trust towards Erdogan, for example. They said it. And today Erdogan criticized the Americans. The Israelis are, and Prime Minister Netanyahu is not really satisfied with the fact that the Biden administration didn't want to recognize the Golan Heights as part of Israel. So, and then Saudi Arabia is not really...
You mean here the sovereignty of Israel over the
Golan Heights. Yes. And then Saudi Arabia is not really satisfied with the Khashoggi thing that's trying to open. And then, let's not forget Iran. Iran now is a very complicated issue, because we don't know how the Biden administration will deal with the interference in Yemen, their interference in Iraq, in Syria. How will they will deal with the fact that Iran is threatening the Gulf states? So the strong ally now is Egypt, who could say, well, there are some facts in the Middle East now after 4 years of the Trump administration, and the Biden administration should recognize it, is that Egypt is the strong ally who could help in calming some issues and alert from some actions. For example, President Sisi said it several times, we will never accept that our brothers in the Gulf will be threatened by any force. He said it, and we are repeating it. Whether in the Emirates, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, we will never accept it. So I think now that if the Biden administration would like to approach Iran, I think that they have to seek also the advice of some major countries like Saudi Arabia and Egypt about this case, because we have some concerns about the interference of Iran. So the Biden administration also knows that the military cooperation, and we have seen today the head of the CENTCOM met President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the military cooperation is excellent because Egypt has the force, the man force, who knows how to use all these equipments for peace. So there is no way to avoid Egypt as a strong ally.
In other words, or in few words, Egypt is an acceptable mediator in all cases and to everyone except very few, but that would be worked on.
It's very hard to excel in that, but we did it. I think that we showed, President Sisi showed the world that there is nothing impossible if you want to achieve peace.
We've been always mediators.
Yes.
And acceptable mediators to, I mean, every file we entered.
We brought peace and
we excelled, and we were able to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Getting back to the Libyan file, and Libyan Airlines announced yesterday that the official agreement to resume flights from Tripoli and Benghazi to Cairo, and the resumption comes on the same day as President Sisi has received the Prime Minister. They all came at the same time. There were also reports about restarting an embassy or a consulate in Libya. How do you view such developments on the Egyptian-Libyan cooperation?
Usually when there is a political approach or a political visit between leaders, there is always some approaches on the ground and diplomatic, like opening embassies, signing some agreements, flights, mutual flights. So I think that this was a message also to the world that the efforts that were made before to sabotage the brotherhood between Egypt and Libya didn't work. We are still brothers. The two countries are avoiding any complications. We have the flights, we have the economy agreements, we have the embassies, the diplomatic relations, and we are open to everyone there. So no one can sabotage Egypt's relationship with its brothers, whether in Sudan, Libya, or anywhere else. Our diplomacy is strong. This is thanks to the diplomacy also that Egypt made all these years. Look, a country like Egypt who suffered terrorism all these years, and still we had the strength to keep the relationship strong. This needs a real force to show to the world that we are capable not to escalate. We de-escalate. We never go forward to the escalation. We always keep the escalation as the last resort. But talking to any government for peace and dialogue is our priority, with the respect of our national security. This is our main topic, and the respect of the international law. Let
aside all the economic and all the the relations. We are from one continent. We share the same borders or the same continent, the same resources. We have the same blood, at the same grassroots. We were all together for thousands of years.
Of course.
So isn't that real proof that we are brothers and nothing can sabotage our relations?
The Libyans, when they suffered for all that, they came to Egypt. And they seek, like the Sudanese, they seek refuge here. And they know that Egypt is the only country that will accept them as brothers. Other countries put them in shelters and...
Refugees.
Yes, we never gave them the label of refugees. They're welcomed to work in Egypt, to invest in Egypt. Even if there are some security concerns, we always accept everyone as brothers, equal to the Egyptians, until they get strong and go back to their country and rebuild it. By the way, this was the message of President Sisi in every gathering with the youth in Africa and the Arab. You have to build your own country. No one will build your country if you will not do it by yourselves. And I think that they now understand it very well. When they have security and stability, they can go back and work again. And of course, they will have always the love in their heart towards Egypt, who had them when they were young.
Yes, indeed. Now, we're speaking about Libya and the scene inside Libya right now. And still there are lots of files before the Transitional Council or the new Libyan Presidential Council. There are lots of challenges. What are the challenges facing the Libyan new Presidential Council and the government? What should be their priorities at this upcoming stage?
The reconstruction of the country, the investment. They have to open several projects to rebuild the country, because one of the first steps towards stability is economy. The young people, if they won't find jobs, where they will go? They will be recruited as mercenaries, or they will be illegal immigrants, or they will be affiliated to some criminal organization or terrorist organization. So the first thing I think that the Libyan government now is seeking is how to invest and how to bring money to the country. And I think that we, as Egypt, we have the expertise in that. We have invested in projects in Tanzania, in South Sudan, in Sudan, and even productive electricity to Lebanon. So I think that the same thing we can do with the Libyans. We will help them to bring the economy to the light. And I think that they have already the materials to do that. So I think this will be the first obstacle that the government should tackle, after, of course, fighting terrorism and expelling all the mercenaries.
Expelling mercenaries. Rather, there are lots and lots of mercenaries, and there are lots of weapons.
Yes, unfortunately.
And we're not speaking about mercenaries, we're speaking about the foreign mercenaries, we're speaking also about militants
Yes.
from within.
Yes.
So how do you view this situation? How can Egypt help Libya restore its stability, particularly from this area at this upcoming stage? Because that would be the first file to work with.
Look, as a specialist, I will tell you immediately, this kind of war is about intelligence. We have a strong intelligence service who provide the info, because everything is done in the dark. I mean, the traffic of the militants, the trafficking of weapons, and all that. So I think that we will give the expertise about the organizations, how to fight them, and
Yes.
and we have cooperation also with the EU in that, and we can help Libya to overcome all these difficulties.
Yes.
It will take time, of course.
Regional and international bodies, the African
Yes.
Union, the UN, and the EU. Definitely, Egypt has all its force to open up to all
course.
these areas. Dr. Cherif Amir, Professor of International Relations, we thank you so much for being with us
Thank
and
you.
for your input.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Tomorrow will be another important debate with another colleague. Good night.